All right, that's my thumb. All right, maybe, but I don't even know if it chooses it. It might choose this right here. You never know, bro. What was I gonna say? Okay. Um, yeah, today I was gonna say, so I've been watching movies like the last day, 2 days. I decided to watch movies, and I figured out. I'm not saying I figured out, but I kind of know where this place is coming from. It's not movies are not inherently bad. There's nothing wrong with movies, but I've been finding myself the past 2 days. I've been, checking out this video right here, checking out this movie right here, which is nothing wrong with that. But it's is are you doing it because you chose to consciously watch a movie, or are you doing it because that movie is gonna fill your cup up with joy? You know, if you were at the peak of your experience, the peak of joy, then watching a movie wouldn't have any effect on you. It wouldn't change your joy. It wouldn't make you more joyful. It wouldn't make you less joyful. But the purpose of me clicking on the movie is to essentially fill my own cup up with joy and fulfillment by watching the movie. That's why people do watch those things, because they're bored, so they want to watch a movie, which is nothing wrong with it. Like, if you want to watch a movie, you could watch a movie, bro. I'm just saying, in my particular case, for the life that I'm trying to live, I could be working on my live action of fourth gear Luffy adaptation, fulfilled, and have just as much joy as I would watching the movie that I was watching, as than working on the project. This is a possibility, and I just wanted to say that. So, you know, the mind will make the nature of the mind is to keep offering ideas and suggestions. That's just what it does. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just doing what it does, and you have to be happy for it, because it's a working intelligence, a working mind. So good job. If your shit wasn't working, you'd be an animal. You want to be an animal? No, you don't. You want to be human, and so it's gonna work. It's just your choice, your conscious choice, what it is you choose to entertain and identify with. So the person watching the movie, because they're trying to use it to fill up their boredom, but your boredom could be filled up by doing productive things. You can actually enjoy them. It's just a thought and idea and identity held within consciousness. The train is coming. I will have to pause. The train is coming. I'm gonna have to pause. The biggest thing that the common human being is in pursuit in is survival process. They're trying to survive a little bit better than everybody else, which is okay. I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with it, but that's essentially what's going on. So most of the worries in the world are just dealt with the survival processes, whether or not a person is going to be able to survive or not. That's how they look at everything, even their own spirituality. They're like, if I don't get to a certain spiritual level, then will I survive? It's like the intrinsic nature of that is in them, which is probably stopping them from ascending spiritually. So the fear of death or whatever, you cannot fear death. You cannot. I'm not saying like, oh, you're not supposed to fear death, but if you want to be whole, if you want to be complete, then the idea of death cannot scare you. The idea of what if you fail cannot scare you. The idea of the future not looking so good cannot scare you. And if you're constantly in fear of the future, then you're gonna have a fucked up future. You know, if you have no fear right now, then what makes you think you'll have fear in the future? You won't. It depends how you train yourself. Not train yourself, but train the mind. What you project in it. So that's that. Another thing I wanted to say is, let me pause. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say. Goal achieving. I've talked a little bit about yesterday, but goal achieving. The nature of the mind is to just give you suggestions and ideas. It has no inherent meaning of itself. It's not like it's the end all be all of reality. But you'll find yourself slipping into the traffic jams of the mind every now and then convincing yourself of one of its suggestions that this is the one and the only truth. For example, that in order to be fulfilled, you need to achieve a certain goal. This is farther from the truth. The fact that you even get to entertain a goal is because there's a source within you that is complete nothingness that allows you to choose anythingness. So a goal will not fulfill you. The idea of the goal is that when you get the goal, the sensation that you get of achieving the goal will give you a sense of identity. It'll shrink your identity, which will ultimately make you sadder and sadder the more you go into the goal, but it will not make you fulfilled. That's the purpose of the goal. You gain a new identity that makes you feel like you expanded yourself in the brief moment that you've achieved it, or on the verge of achieving it, or a little bit of the aftermath of achieving it, but then it fades away. That it makes you feel like you've done something, it makes you feel happy. That's essentially what's happening with a goal is you suffer the whole goal, then when you achieve it, you feel that you've experiencing an expanded sense of identity, and then you gain that happiness, and then it quickly fades because now you're locked in with that identity. You basically shrunk your identity. You thought you expanded it, and then boom, you're back to shrinking. Now you want to be the king of the world. Essentially, how does one person do a goal? How does somebody do a goal with always enjoying the moment? And that's getting to the point where don't try to extract from life, and that you can enjoy anything in life, even if it's quote unquote hard work, if you have no expectations or preconceived notions on how you think that you should achieve a certain thing, a result from doing it. You do it with the intention of wanting to do well in it. But even that you must drop and just do it. It's not something that you can necessarily explain. It's something that happens, that when you do something, you just get lost into it. I can't explain it. Like it's something, yes, you consciously trigger, but eventually it begins to take a hold of its own, but you're still at the seat, you're still at the wheel. It happens. They call it flow state. And there's probably deeper levels of flow state that one can achieve. So flow state is not something that flow state is not something that you're forcefully doing. It's something that you're allowing to happen. You're flowing with life in the action. You're not in the future. You're not saying, if I don't achieve a result, then I won't be a failure and my life will be ruined and I'll die. You're not saying that. You're just doing the action. You're doing it in the moment. No thoughts, just doing. Meditative. That's basically what's happening. So you can treat everything in life that way. Being in the flow state with life, being in the flow with life. So when you pick up an action, just as much fulfillment as you would get as watching a movie, you'd get from doing that action. Because you do it, and whatever pops in the mind, because when you're watching a movie, you're in the flow state essentially. When you're watching a movie, you're enjoying it, and you're in the flow state of watching the movie. So you can do the same thing. You can watch the movie of your work. You're doing the work, and you're watching the movie, your actions, your hunches that just seem to happen spontaneously. You're watching the movie. You're participating, but you're not participating. Something else within you that's divine is doing the movie. And that's essentially what's really going on. It's all a movie. The life is all a movie. And you could watch the movie like, I'm doing this, but I'm watching myself do it. It's essentially a movie, and you can enjoy fulfillment. You could just be doing this all day, like looking like a goofball, but be so entertained by it because you're watching it. You know, that's why when you're a little kid, you're just like, the little kids just be looking at you like, what? Because they're really watching it. They're in the flow state. So you can treat anything in life with that. It's when your mind says, oh, you're doing nothing, you're getting nothing out of this. You're getting nothing out of this. This right here could be a spiritual practice, just paying attention. It really can. But the mind could say, oh, you're doing nothing out of this. Go do this, that, and the third, you know, which is okay. Some things are gravitate with you better. You work with your beliefs and stuff like that. But yeah, find the flow in everything. You know, understand that is where you want to watch a movie or do anything like that. Is it to gain fulfillment out of it, or is it just to do it because you're consciously doing it? It's the real choice that you have to make in your head, the real decision. Anyways, that's what I want to say. I said everything I wanted to say.